Ben Whittaker makes a highly successful debut for Matchroom Boxing with a first round, very impressive KO win over Germany's Benjamin Gavase. In doing so, he annexes the WBC light heavyweight silver title. And he did so, like I said, by a very impressive, very destructive first round KO of his German opponent. Now, the fight, I've got to say, the introductions and the ring walks lasted way longer than the fight. But the fight started with Gavase on the front foot. He was obviously hoping to make his presence felt, show that he's not come over here for a payday or just to make up the numbers. He was trying to show that he was in there to win. And I thought he started purposefully. He tried to land some shots. He was boxing behind the jab, tried to take the front foot, which he did. I think Ben Whittaker was a bit circumspect in the first 30 seconds or so. But as soon as Ben Whittaker opened up, you could immediately tell the disparity in hand speed and foot speed and sharpness. Ben Whittaker looked very sharp tonight, looked razor sharp. Good jab, great jab even, great speed. Really looked good. And it didn't take him long to get his first knockdown. That came after about a minute. It started with a body shot and it went on, I think it was something like an 8-punch combination I counted. Dropped Gavase quite heavily. Gavase, to be fair to him, got up, but he was no match for Whittaker. Whittaker promptly went for him and landed a few more combinations, culminating in a big, big right hand, accurate, powerful, fast, straight down the pipe. Dropped Gavase heavily on his back, and he was never going to get up, and he was out of there. Very, very impressive, like I said, from Ben Whittaker, especially when you consider that coming into this fight, there would have been a lot of pressure on him. There'd been a lot of hoopla about his signing for Matchroom. You saw the video with the show me the money. Well, tonight, Ben Whittaker showed the KO, and he looked very good in doing so. I've got to say, immediately I can tell that him linking up with Andy Lee is going to be very good for his career. I say that because in his previous fight to this, there was a 2-round destruction of Liam Cameron, who previously had been that controversial fight with Ben Whittaker, where people said that Ben Whittaker had looked for a way out. People accused him of, trying to elevate himself over the top rope because things were getting hard in there. Something that I never believed in. I said on this channel at the time, I didn't believe it. I've always rated Ben Whittaker, right from the amateurs. You don't win Olympic silver medals if you don't have the talent, and this guy has the talent and some. I think what he needed, and I think the benefit of the Liam Cameron first fight, amidst all the other travails that was going on in his life, is that he needed a bit of focus. And I think under Andy Lee, and maybe as well under this new contract he's got with Matchroom Boxing, which I imagine must be quite lucrative. But yeah, he seems a lot more focused now. He's still got the showboating elements, although you didn't see too much of that tonight because there wasn't enough time for him to go through his repertoire of showboating antics. Some people might say that's a good thing. But yeah, I mean, he looks focused. He looks on it. I think he's always been a hard trainer. But I think what you're seeing now is a guy that realizes just the level of talent he's got, and he knows that he's in a very stacked division. And if he's going to live up to the hype, he's got to produce. And I think you saw tonight, he was very motivated to do just that. So yeah, I've got to give him all the credit in the world. I think it's going to be a fantastic journey, this one, because, he has that personality whereby people, he's a bit of a Marmite type figure. There'll be a lot of people who love him, and there'll be a lot of people that want to see him fail. The guy's got, I said, something like 3.5 million followers on Insta. So he's a big name. He's a big draw. A lot of people will want to try and take him down. But it's not going to be easy because this guy is extremely talented. He's got all the physical attributes that you want. He's something like 6'3", very athletic. He's quick, long-limbed, power. He seems to have everything. And yeah, I think he's going to go all the way. But it is interesting because the light heavyweight division at the moment is stacked, not just in this country. I mean, even in this country alone, forget about the world levels for a minute. You've got a number of very good light heavyweights. Callum Smith, Anthony Yard, even though he lost last weekend, but he's not going to retire. He's still going to be looking to the domestic scene, I would imagine, for him to continue his career. You've got Joshua Buatsi, you've got Willie Hutchinson, you've got Dan Aziz, you've got Craig Richards. There's a number of light heavyweights out there, and they're all ambitious. They will all be wanting to fight Whittaker, I would imagine. And so, yeah, it's going to make for some great entertainment over the next couple of years. I don't know what direction Ben Whittaker's going to go, whether he's going to try and fight some of our domestic fighters over here, or whether he's going to head straight towards the international scene. But yeah, he won't be short of people trying to take him down. So it's going to be very interesting to see what Matchroom do with him. But what I would say as well is that he does look like he's got the star power, and he does look like he's got the kind of character that can, propel him into what Eddie Hearn will be believing to be superstar status. It was interesting after the fight that Eddie Hearn, as he does, he's very good at it, talking up his fighter, calling him a superstar. And on that type of performance, you would say that there are elements of a superstar about Ben Whittaker. However, it's all about the performances in the ring. Tonight he was spot on. He looked sharp, he looked powerful, he looked quick. So all the essentials are there. Can he deliver a world title? I would say yes. Again, it's going to be down to how they maneuver his career, who they match him with, getting the right fights at the right time. That is very important. Matchmaking is something that it's an art form, something that Frank Warren, I've got to big up Frank Warren for this. He's proven time and time again that he can do that. Eddie Hearn, I would say, is not quite as astute in the boxing business as Frank Warren is. I think that's fair to say. I think history will tell you that. But with a guy like Ben Whittaker, I mean, like I said, the talent is there. He appears to be very, very motivated. In Andy Lee, he's got the kind of guy who's been a world champion himself, Andy Lee, and a very good trainer. Came up under Emmanuel Stewart at Kronk Gym, learned his trade. He is exactly the type of guy that can maybe shave off some of the excesses, get Ben Whittaker to focus, get him to concentrate, and allow him to express himself at the same time, but, keeping him on a level playing field. And I really do think this guy can go all the way. It'll be interesting to see who his next fight is against, actually, because like I said, there's been a lot of guys already calling him out. It'll be interesting to see, like I said, if Eddie Hearn wants to go down a domestic route or whether he wants to head straight for the stars, as it were, go the international route and see if he can annex titles. I mean, there's some killers out there at the moment in that division. David Benavidez, although David Benavidez has announced that he's going up to cruiserweight to fight Zerdo Ramirez in his next fight, but you got the likes of Bivol and Beterbiev and all those guys internationally. So yeah, it's going to be a great journey. But I've got to circle back to tonight's performance. Excellent performance. Only lasted a couple of minutes, but hey, when you've making all that noise and then you get in the ring, you got to deliver. And one thing you can't say about Ben Whittaker tonight is that he didn't deliver. Some people are going to question the opponent. I think the opponent was a decent one coming into this fight. He had something like 20 fights, only one loss. He was known as a pretty decent puncher himself. So there was a bit of jeopardy going into this fight for Ben Whittaker. But I've got to say, yeah, he was very, very impressive. So shout out to Ben Whittaker. Really impressive. Like I've said, look forward to seeing him on the next one. Shout out to you guys for watching LL Sports TV. Recently gone past 8,000 subscribers. Really do appreciate it. And yeah, please keep supporting. Please keep spreading the word. Really appreciate it. Catch you on the next one. I am out.